we're in the Eastern Lakes, and if I take you around, you'll probably find that the wind destroys the audio around here. And this is the connecting call that goes up to Harter Fell, and Graham John's just put the Leica 530 on the call, stabilised the tripod's legs with a few stones just to keep it in place, and let's go and see them, see if they've got anything to tell me today. Any
here comes the cameraman.
Any comments on Harter Fell, isn't it, today?
Yeah.
Yeah? Any comments on it? Or I think, actually, saying that, if I come around the side of you, I'm just out of the breeze, because I suspect the breeze is
It's nice just to nice and close.
yeah, disrupting the audio somewhat. So oh, that's quite good. It's just got the equipment in the background. So yeah, so today's hill.
Harter Fell, and it has been, I think it was one of the original Marilyns, and it's since been demoted. Got 149 metres of drop, so I think it's going to be a good day. I think it stands a good chance, this one.
So obviously we're at the call, isn't it? And is it Mardale Hill Bell just beyond on the other side?
Yeah, if we carry on up that path, we come to Mardale Hill Bell and then up onto High Street eventually.
And you were telling me coming up in the car this morning that Harter Fell, is it? It was one of the original Marilyns, wasn't it? And then it was out of the list.
And then it dropped out of the list. I'm not sure just when. It was originally, and I think with exactly 150 metres of drop, and now it's officially got 149, which is obviously why we're standing here today.
Yeah. So if I try to come over to John, and how much data collected at the call do you think, John, today?
1 hour.
1 hour here, yeah? Oh, that'll be that'll be
quicker getting up here than we thought, and it hasn't taken so long to survey the coal, so we give it a little bit extra.
That'll give me a nice rest as well.
Yeah.
I think I need it after going up. But same on the summit as well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So
we'll be here 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, yeah. And half an hour up to the top, yeah. So we're about an hour on the top as well, yes.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So and there's the GPS on the call.
Collecting away.
Yeah, okay then. Cheers, chaps. Just reached the summit of Harter Fell, and here's Graham at the level, and we'll go over and see John. He's got the staff.
1.24. Go back, John.
And there's quite a substantial cairn on the very highest point, which we'll go to in a couple of minutes. But there's many permanent embedded rocks in the base of the cairn that look as if they probably haven't been put there by man, that they're part of the hill summit.
So you're half a metre lower than that.
So what's the highest point so far, John?
There's a couple of little rocks not far from where Graham is, which we started. We've got a reading of 0.61 on there. We're going to be doing over 1 here, so this is about half a metre lower. Even though it doesn't look it, it's about half a metre lower.
Yeah, so it's going to be some of the rocks around the cairn area, isn't it?
Yeah, around the cairn. Most people are sitting to the left of the cairn. Though it does look lower. We must check those, yeah.
Well, shall I follow you there?
Right.
Let's
Back here. Over here.
Again, on summits like this, we normally come up and we have a good prod around on many. We lay a matrix of flags in a grid system, but on a summit like this, we don't really have to. It's just substantiating whether the ground that John is on now is higher or lower than the ground that is just coming into view where Graham is and where the cairn is. And
Just have a little look. See, there's a stone to the right side of the fence there.
yeah,
Difficult to tell. I might just check that out.
but this is were you saying about half a metre lower, John?
It's half a metre lower here. You
Yeah.
didn't think it from there. It looked about the same. But because it's quite rolling here, isn't it, in grassland, so you just can't get the horizon.
On a summit like this, we don't really have to lay a matrix of flags out, do we?
No, not really. No, I don't think so. I mean, there's certain points around here we can see. We just have to check that side. I think where we've got the first place we chose on those rocks is probably the highest point, and then we'll have to just check the other side of the cairn then. I think that's about it. And then clearly it's dropping down the other side, so yeah, we should get it fairly quick, I think.
Well,
yeah.
I'll probably follow you around as you're going from rock to rock. Whilst taking the measurements on the col, although it's a Monday, you'd expect a few people up here, because well, it's in the lakes and it's such a beautiful hot sunny day. We've got a fence here, so I just climb over and I'll go over towards John again. But at the col we took data for about an hour, and quite a few people passing us, and it was quite nice because many people were asking questions, so I was too knackered to reply. John and Graham sorted all the questions that were being asked.
That's good, because that's wobbly. It's a bit like a... I shouldn't say it on camera, should I?
A jelly.
No. I was thinking of another hill where we had a wobbly rock.
Ah.
Right, go to the cairn now.
Yeah. So we checked this side of the fence, and now John's going to lead us off towards the cairn. Oh, camera's just going to wobble a bit crossing the fence. So again, if I come over to Graham really quickly, and sorry about this, Graham, I'm going to go straight in front of you just for a second.
Right, no problem.
There he is.
Hi.
So Graham will sight from the level. Here's the substantial cairn, and John's going to be prodding around on them. Permanently embedded rocks. There's quite a few at the base, John, all around the edge. Quite substantial as well. So the readings that Graham's taken, what we're after is actually the lowest reading, which means it's the highest ground. So I'll just come to Graham and I'll go around the back of Graham so you can have the view of what Graham's looking at now as John's picking the rocks.
That will be definitely. Yeah, it's 0.83 something.
So that's looking at High Street in the background.
The only, I don't think there's any of these rocks, so I can't see them through the level anyway, but I think they're all going to be lower than this one over here, aren't they?
It's quite breezy on the col. It's a sharp gash, so the wind was being blown through it. There's a good shelter there, and we were on the leeward side, and there's hardly a breath of wind up here now, which is quite nice. That
looks like it's just lying there, doesn't it?
Well, it's not going to move, but it gives the impression to me it's been embedded in...
The top of that's quite high, isn't it?
On the top of this one, yeah. That's what I say, this one looks as if it's been put there to support the stand. But it's not going to move, it's not going anywhere. So that is going to be definitely higher. But I can't give up this.
it's always a little bit tricky to work out whether the rocks have been put there or whether they're part of the natural ground. And obviously with a cairn this size, we've we're probably not going to dismantle this.
That is definitely higher. It's 0.5 something.
So it's that's the highest bit of ground, but what we have to decide on is whether that rock has been put there as part of the cairn or whether it's part of natural ground. I actually think, you know, there's a little rocky tor here, and I wouldn't be surprised at all whether that's part of the natural ground of the hill. But I think, John, what we'll probably have to do is dismantle just the upper bit of rock around that big one that you got your hand on. Yeah. Is that the very highest one so far?
Highest, yes, 15 centimetres high over there.
Yeah. So Graham is obviously, this cairn has been here for probably many decades, and we're not going to dismantle too much of it. Part of it's fallen down anyway. It's got some sort of metal apparatus in there as well, but it's almost looking as if there's a rocky tor that the cairn's on top, so who knows. I'm going to turn it off for now and probably do a little bit more recording when we've ascertained where we're going to place the GPS.
Okay, we've been trying to find the highest points of here, and we've looked at some rocks over there and checked the height of those. But when we look more closely at the cairn, you can see there are rocks like this, which look a bit different from the way the other rocks in the cairn are laid. So it looks as though around the outside of the cairn here, there's a rock tor, and the cairn has been built over it. So there's a definite rock here that looks pretty substantial. It's not movable, and it looks as though it's going into the ground, where all the other ones are laid in a different direction. But also, as discovered by yourself, in here, there's another rock here. It looks again, it's going down like a pinnacle into the ground. And there's a point here, there, and that may be a high point too. So what we've done, with a level set over there, we've put the staff on this point here, on that rock, and we've also measured a point where we're going to put the GPS. So we've got relative readings of height now for that point, and the GPS position. So we'll be able to get the exact heights of each of those three positions when we work out the GPS later on.
Just coming down from the top of, I think it's Harter Fell, could be Harter Crag. So we took an hour's worth of data on the col, and then an hour's worth of data at the summit, and the summit was quite interesting. Arrived there and various rocks protruding out of the ground, and eventually we dismantled part of the cairn which we rebuilt afterwards, and found a summit tor embedded under the cairn, so that's the highest part of the fell. So we took another hour's worth of data on top, and I set off before John and Graham as usual. Thought they would have caught me up by now, but they're nowhere to be seen. I hope they haven't got lost. We've looked at 2 or 3 small summits just on our way down, so no time they're doing just GPS readings there for 10-figure grid references. So just the last little stretch now to go back down to the valley to Haweswater. Been a stunning day, a nice sort of breeze, but very, very warm in places, especially on the uphill. But lovely, lovely day. Forecast wasn't for weather like this afternoon. Possibility of localised showers breaking out, and it's remained quite lovely all day. So so there we go, another Sub-Marilyn surveyed, and we'll have to wait for the post-process data to work out whether it re-enters the Marilyn list.
And now, having carried out the survey for Harter Fell, we will give the results that we obtained. Just to refresh your memory, the col for the hill doesn't have a spot height, and from the contours it's between 620 and 630 metres, and the spot height for the summit is 778 metres, making it of course a Sub-Marilyn. The survey data that we got for the col gave a height of 629.7 metres, and the GPS data that we obtained for the summit gave a height of 778.9 metres, which gives a drop of 149.2 metres, and so therefore Harter Fell does not have the 150 metres of drop required to make it a Marilyn, and it remains a Sub-Marilyn.